I'm doing a test here to see if anybody. Oh, yeah, we're just doing a little testing here. And good afternoon. This is Michael Alpough. Welcome to the Vision of Love show, episode number 5. We're already on the 5th show here. I'm testing some things here. So I had to open up a little bit early there. I'm just trying to figure something out. But we are at our exact 2 o'clock time. And I want to welcome those to the show. I also did one this morning at 10 o'clock. We will be broadcasting 3 times a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, because the times are calling for it. We're all here to deal with what's going on in this world, ladies and gentlemen. As we know, we're all in different times that we've never been in. And if this is your first time on the show, I want to welcome you here. We talk about love. We talk about the vision of love. We talk about how to negotiate through these times. And the main thing is how to love ourselves more and how to think in terms of dealing with the surroundings that we are living in now. So if you're a first timer, I want to welcome you. If you're coming back again, I just want you to know I appreciate you. And if you are watching or anytime, would you please put a like down there? And also maybe just a comment. Hello, anything would help. We want to do our best here to get the word out to everybody. If these words help you in any way, then I know it could help some other people out there, because most of us, let's just say it, no matter what, it's been a struggle. Even some of my people who have been very successful, who I know have caught the virus. And, you know, it surprised a lot of people. We've been very blessed in our family. Everybody's been healthy. And we hope that yours is also. Okay. We're all in this together. And that is the main thing. This is an opportunity, and I do mean an opportunity to bring us together in a different way. And it is Monday. Some of you may be at work. Some of you are at home working. If you get a chance to even come on here for a few minutes, but I always recommend you stay the whole 30, because you never know what can help you. We deal in wisdom in phrases that can change your mind. I hope your Easter was good yesterday. Mine was. I went to go see my mother. It was for the first time. She's in a memory facility, and we haven't been able to see her except through a door. And that's no fun. So yesterday, for the first time, when I went to go down and wish her a happy holiday, and bring her a piece of her favorite coconut cream cake, They told me I could actually come in. I thought I was going to be outside a thick glass window, guys, a door with the middle bar. It's just been so hard, but yesterday was a wonderful day. I was able to sing happy birthday to my mother, and she was in the main room there where everybody was in, and people started joining in. It was really beautiful, and they clapped for my mom, and she remembered me. She called me her sweet Michael. It was a wonderful time. I've had so much loss here lately. Losing my dog Izzy, who I still miss, and my father, and so it's just really good to have those few moments. And I just want you to know that family is everything. Okay, do your best to love one another within your family, because at the end of the day, it's pretty much all you have. So, the meaning of this holiday, which is always a major one in the Gregorian calendar, Easter is. Yesterday, I did a broadcast talking about us rising, that it's a day of resurrection for all of us. We have to figure out a way to rise above this circumstance. And what is that circumstance is? Well, we're in the middle of a political, economic, religious, left, right. It's all kind of keeps you confused. And so this is why we, it comes down to every day is, are you your best friend or your own worst enemy? And these times, we have to be our own best friend. We have to, and in turn, help us be each other's best friend. There's no greater time than now. I'm very happy for my family. I grew up with a good family. I had good relatives, and I was very close with my father, and I am still with my mother. And for those of you who maybe didn't have good parents or a good mother or a good father, I'm sorry for you. And for the ones who have one still, love them. Keep loving them, because you just never know when they won't be there. So let's keep moving here. We're always talking about different phrases, questions, and this is a big one. Are you your best friend, or are you your own worst enemy? If you saw that question and you hesitated, then you're probably your own worst enemy. And you have to decide whether or not you want to be your own best friend. All it does is, how you start that is just say, I've decided I'm not my own worst enemy anymore. And now I'm my best friend, Michael. I had to do it. So I'm going to continue on what I was talking about this morning. And what is where are we as a person, as each individual? You see what is going on in this world. I'm sure that a lot of you, including myself, has happened before, where what gets you out of bed? What is going to get you out? What gets you out of bed every day? Only you know what that means. And now I'm doing my passion. This is my 5th show. Actually, it's taken me probably a year, because of all the things that have happened to me in terms of my business and losing the closest people to me. And it came down to now I figure out what it is that gets me out of bed now, and that is this passion to help others and help animals, you know. So what gets you out of bed? And so the question that we have today that we'll be talking about even this evening is it time to reinvent yourself? Is it time to reinvent yourself? You could be saying, I'm doing my best to live my life. And I'm sure that you probably are. I'm sure that you are. I'm doing my best to live my life. Okay. But it still comes down to, is it time to reinvent yourself? I had to reinvent myself. I can say, I would say 15 times. I've had to do it. And I reinvent myself. I've always been pretty much an entrepreneur. I started off working in hospitals, started my own, reinvented myself, started a messenger company, reinvented myself, ran a taxi company, reinvented myself, went back to the medical field, reinvented myself going to work at Ford, and then reinvented myself in the PMF field, selling about 8 different products that each individually taken away from me and having to sell another product. What it came down for me at the end of the day, and that's really what it came down to, is what are your passions? I had to come down to it and said, what is my passion? What is my passion, Michael? What's going to get me out of bed? Let's come back to, is it time to reinvent yourself? What does that mean? You can see what's going on here. For example, as we know, the restaurants, for example, all the restaurants that have closed, all the restaurants that are now only on 10% capacity, 25% capacity. So even though they're hiring, they're only hiring for 10% capacity, 30%. One of these days, maybe it'll get to 100. Some states are doing that. At the same time, if you work in the food industry, an example of you may have to reinvent yourself. And that's really what it really comes down to. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, you write down your passions. This will get you started. Writing down your passions. Okay. And then from there, staying flexible. Staying flexible. You know, it's scary for you to reinvent yourself. It really is. It comes up as something that's very difficult because you're now becoming a self-motivated person, which means you don't have a boss to go answer to except when you look in the mirror. And that is one of the best things that you could possibly have is a mirror. Because one of the things you really want to say is, I love you, best friend. That's where you start. Now, I am what I think about. So I am what I think about which means one of my first things is I love you. And that's where you should start is I love you. So when you come to what's called, I want to, where am I? What makes me decide that I can even be an entrepreneur? Well, it came down to I am an adult of my mind. My mind. So in order to even find your passions, you must become an adult of your mind. You know, when I was younger, oh my gosh, I already knew I was going to play professional football, and I was going to play professional basketball, and I was going to be a rock star, a musician. This is before I got out of high school. I had a plan, but that was scrapped pretty quick. By the time I was a senior, I already knew I'm not going to play football or basketball. So now I have to make another plan, which was to move to Los Angeles. Now that was my big gut buster, was moving out and landing in Los Angeles in 1977 with $150 in my pocket. 1977. It takes a lot of guts to do that. I was 20 years old, but when I look back on it, boy, I wouldn't do that again. You know, $150 isn't going to get you one night in a hotel now, you see. So, but this came down to it. Am I my own best friend or my own worst enemy? If I want to be my own best friend, that's going to be risky. So what did I have to do? I had to become an adult of my thought. The thought. One thought. When I reset it myself, first thing was, I love you, best friend. And the second one was, well, I have to figure out what I'm always thinking about. So in order to do that, I had to become an adult of my mind. Before that, I'm an adult of my mind. And then I am what I think about. These all can go in congruent. I'm an adult of my thought. I'm an adult of my mind. I am what I think about. I love you, best friend. Through that, then you learn about what is your passions. Now, we're going to be talking about the mind, okay? Where does your thoughts, how do they interact within your mind, within your framework of your mind? Well, it's mainly in your imagination. Your imagination. So what's very important is controlling your imagination. Otherwise, our imaginations will be controlled. Okay. As a child, what did most of us grow up on? Cartoons. Disney. I mean, not just Disney, but, you know, I mean, Disney started having movies, cartoon movies, Bambi, you know, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Pluto. I actually went to California when I was 3 years old, and there's a picture of my mom and my brother and I holding Mickey and Minnie Mouse's hands. So here I am. I saw this cartoon. I'm 3 years old. We go to Disneyland in Anaheim. And the next thing you know, we enter into Disneyland, which is a wonder world for a child. And the next thing I know, I see Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse walking up to me. And they were huge, right? I mean, they were huge. Yeah, I would even say scary. Holding their hand. I was literally petrified. First of all, if you see a mouse in the house and then you see this big mouse in a costume, that's a little scary at 3 years old. So my imagination going to Disneyland really opened up. And that led to a lot of other different things. Now, just to let you know, give you an example of how effective cartoons are. I want to give you a little tidbit of information. Back in when World War II happened, the U.S. government was raising funds, for the war, right? War bonds and things like that. Okay. And so when you went to the movies, you had what was called these newsreels. And so you would have all these celebrities, famous people coming on, like John Wayne. I want you to help out the government and buy bonds. Okay. And many others. Guess who was the number one who raised more money on the war bonds? Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. The cartoons raised money on the war bonds. And this is what sent Disneyland basically into the stratosphere. And right now, as you know, Disneyland totally is big time, the biggest. I could make the statement that Disneyland helped form our imagination, right? Our imagination. To the point where who doesn't still like Mickey Mouse? With other cartoons, the Flintstones, the Jetsons. One of my favorite was Johnny Quest, only lasted one season. So cartoons have somewhat helped control our imagination. And so really, when you're looking at yourself and you're looking to reinvent yourself, part of that huge part comes through your imagination of envisioning what it is about what are your passions. So in the process of you being your best friend or your worst enemy, the reset, and I'm not saying that Disney is the enemy. What I'm saying is, as an adult of my thought, part of that is emptying the child imaginations and replacing them with your passions. Your passions. Maybe your passion is to be your best friend, so that you can be doing the best to live your life. See, I'm doing the best I can to live my life. What So gives me pleasure is being able to share information to each one of us, because as I shared my information on my experience, it continues to remind me and allows me to continue my growth, because I repeat it over and over again that I am doing my best to live my life. My passion is doing this as well as helping animals who, if we think that it's hard on us, believe me, it's much harder on the animals. Uh, People haven't been going in to get, dogs and the cats, but there's all kinds of other animals out there, and there's a lot of sanctuaries out there that take in all animals. And so I'm going to be expressing what my passion is about helping animals in emergency. Animals in emergency. You wouldn't believe how much it costs. If you've had an animal, a dog and a cat, and you're even a pig, rabbit, if you need an operation or some kind, there is very little insurance policies out there that cover the massive cost of what it costs to take your animals in to have an operation. So, for example, it costs $2,300 to take off $2,300 to take out two of Izzy's teeth. $2,300 for two teeth. And that was because they had to have two nurses and a doctor monitoring her. So it's just like going into a hospital, and they want their money that day. They want it that day. They don't, you don't have till tomorrow. There's no payment plans when you go to the vet. Okay. So I will be talking about this more. But the main thing is it time to reinvent yourself? I know that we're all at a crossroads. And it's not just the restaurant business. It's the entertainment. I have quite a few DJ friends, extremely talented. And basically it's wiped out the income. It's very difficult. There's no bars. There's no crowds. There's no Burning Man. There's no Coachella. There's, if you want to be in a band, where do you play? Well, on the internet. And if you haven't, considered, getting on the internet, it might be time to figure out what is your passion. Maybe you know something good about cooking. Maybe you know how to fix things. What is your passion? What is it that just makes you get out of bed, right? What is it that makes you get out of bed? Stay flexible. That's what will get you out of bed. Staying flexible. Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. Allow it to come to you. Okay? Come to Papa, baby. Come to Papa. So please put in the comments if you have any questions. Please give me a like. Really appreciate it. I'll be back at 6 o'clock Pacific time for our third show of inspiration. When your mind gets troubled, fill it with love. When your mind gets troubled, fill it with love. We'll see you back at 6 o'clock. If it's the only time I get to see you, I'll be back here at this same time tomorrow. If you're not doing anything, come and check me out later, 6 o'clock Pacific. Until then, Michael Alpough out.